Hello, Carolyn. Good morning, Michael. Good morning. Ah, here we are. All right. How are you? How is your day so far? Yep, beautiful sun. Thank gosh we're not melting here. I know we'll have our melting days. Stevie, good morning. I know we fixed my emails. I know that more people have been receiving them. Anyway, what's going on today? Anything to report? Talked to my girlfriend in Greece, and she said that she's going to Athens tomorrow. It's supposed to be 100 degrees. My daughter in the UK is not sleeping. It's miserable. Just really, really crazy what's happening, right? So anything to report? I'd like to share something. I always like to share the latest thing that I've been reading. And so fiber and eating a lot to keep your digestive tract in working order is really, really important. And I was reading something yesterday from the Food Revolution Network, which is Ocean Robbins. His dad was one of the heirs to the Baskin Robbins fortune. And I believe he actually passed it up because he really got into health food and into being vegan. And so, ice cream being dairy from cows. So anyway, they have this amazing network. I really love it. And they're actually vegan. So for more plant-rich information and more studies on food that has to do with plants and animals and all that, they're really great. So yesterday they had a blog about they went on a rafting trip in the early 2000s. And when you go on a rafting trip, you go into a place, you have to take whatever you take in with you has to come out with you, everything. No trace can be left behind. So that means all the food that you're going to eat has to go in with you, and all the waste that you produce has to come out with you. So they have containers to collect their poop. And he was with a group, they were all plant based. And so they have a certain amount they have this to gather their poop. And because they were plant eat so much, they have so much fiber, they actually had a lot more waste than they accounted for. And the guide told him, wow, this is like the most poop any group has done. So really, fiber and bulking up your digestive tract, I like to say it's a school bus. And I like to say that we need to create a school bus for all the bad little buggers to get on to be pooped out. And we're going to be talking more and more about poop. I know it's been a taboo topic here in the West forever, and in the East, especially in India. That is something you ask your children. Did you have a bowel movement today? I remember when I was in a yoga therapy training, my friend who was in her 40s, she said when she has conversations with her parents on the phone in India, they still ask her, did you poop today? So they've got it right. The poop is actually an indication of how well your body is functioning. Today, I like to do a little bit of digestive moves and explain when I'm doing them why, like, what is it about that helps with digestion. And so, really important. So we want to eat a lot of fiber to create a big school bus for the bad little buggers to jump on so that we poop them out. So, and then movement and hydration can also be a part of that as well. So there you go. That's the daily of the practice, is to discuss poop and how valuable it is to notice your poop. You should have a bowel movement every single day in the morning without having to have coffee to go poop. And your poop should have a certain consistency, smell, size, shape. There's a chart, the Bristol chart, to look at yours. And it's really a great indication for how well your body is functioning, what's going on in there. And I run stool tests on people, so I'm always talking poop, and that's part of my intake is, are you pooping? What's it like? So anyway, learn about your poop. Be very familiar with your poop, because that's going to be an indicator of how healthy you are, how healthy your digestive tract is. All right. Nancy, good morning. Just in time for the poop conversation. Lynn, good morning. Glad you're here. All right. So if there's not anything else to discuss, I'll let that poopy conversation sit with you, and we'll come back here. Okay. All right. So today's practice, I'd like to bring in the aspects of digestion, and I'd like us to kind of expand our awareness on that word, because digestion is critical to health. Because digestion is what your body does with what it brings in, and then how your body manages it has aspects to different layers of your health and your functionality in your system. There are things that we can do with what we bring into our body. There are ways we can manage what happens, the whole process of breaking down what we bring in, or digesting, absorbing, and assimilating. And then there's also physical aspects of what we could do. We could do physical movement to help the digestive process. We also can learn how to manage our nervous system. So stress management through breath work, through meditation, because the lining of our gut, the single cell layer of your outside world, which is from mouth to anus, this closed tube, to the inside world, which is your body, that there's one layer of cells. It's innervated with the nervous system. So when your body feels safe, go ahead and digest, absorb, assimilate, bring the building blocks of nutrition into your body. And when you're feeling like fight, flight, get the heck out of here, the body doesn't have time for digestion, because digestion uses a lot of the body's blood supply to manage and to move around the nutrients. Also, a lot of the body's energy for the process of digestion. So having the calm aspect when you're eating, super important for that whole proper functionality of digestion, absorption, assimilation. And so let's bring this today to be a digestive practice on all levels, digesting what may be in your belly, and then understanding what we eat, what we consume, and how all of that needs to be managed and digested. So for this practice, you'll need a blanket, a strap, and a block. And then let's begin on a blanket in a seated position. Let's begin. So the choices here would be that you fold your blanket and that you sit in a crisscross leg position if you have knees that are kind of cranky and don't like to bend. Otherwise, if you have bendable knees, you could support your body in a hero's posture, which is taking the block between the shins and then letting your pelvis rest on the block. So choose what's appropriate for you. Coming into a seated position, let's make this shift from human doing to human being. Let's come to this present moment and understanding that we are always consuming. We are always consuming. And our senses, our optic nerve takes in about 80% of our information comes in through what we see. So what we choose to put ourselves in front of is we are eating with our eyes, eating with our nose, eating with our ears, eating with our mouth, eating with our skin. So what we put ourselves around comes in, and then it needs to be managed and processed and digested, absorbed, assimilated, and eliminated. And that's the big piece that we're missing. And we need to be in that calm place for our nervous system to properly allow the body to digest physically the food that we bring in. So let's begin in a seated position, closing your eyes, nice long spine, shifting from human doings, from consuming with our senses, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin, shifting from consuming to going inward, closing your eyes. Noticing what you notice. Notice your heart beating. Notice what it feels like to sit in this position. Notice the temperature on your skin, the sounds that exist around you, the smells that are in the air, the aromas in the air. Any lingering tastes that are in your mouth. Paying attention and noticing what you're noticing inward, turning your eyeballs inward. Couple more breaths like this, noticing if you get distracted, noticing what comes up the most for you. Is it sounds? Is it thoughts? Do you feel your heart beating? Do you notice any digestive sounding? And take one more breath. Bring your awareness to your eyes and gently allow your eyes to blink themselves open. Bringing your awareness inside, realizing that we need to shift from human doing to human being. That is something you can do often. It's a great thing to do before you're going to eat, before you're going to bring in things physically into your body. Preparing your nervous system for digestion, for absorption and assimilation. So calming, sending those calming signals down the nervous system, stimulating parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of the nervous system where we rest and we digest. And we don't think of that often enough. So we eat watching TV, we eat reading, we quickly eat, depending on what your patterning is from your lineage, whatever your ancestors had to go through with food and their behaviors around food that then got passed down to you, or current life situations and how scared or nervous your body is feeling with what you're bringing in through what you watch and what you expose yourself to. So there's this set pace of what happens with digestive aspects of us, the behavioral aspects around food. So raising your awareness to this, that we actually need to make these shifts in our lives. And so taking the time to practice human doing to human being, your body will know where to go quicker. And you can use this before you eat. And you know, it's really profound that most cultures around the world had some kind of prayer before food, some kind of thankfulness before what they were going to eat. And when you watch shows where they are testing humans like Alone or Naked and Afraid, you really get to see how humans are so appreciative of what they get to eat when getting food is not so easy. But in our modern day, it is so easy. So taking the time out to be grateful, to accept or to notice what is going to come in, because what we eat, we become. The foods we eat build our cells, our tissues, our nerves, our heart, our bones, our hormones. And so we need to develop this better relationship with the fact that this is what nourishes ourselves, our souls, our cells, and preparing ourselves to be in the best position to allow whatever it is we're bringing in to become us. So really profound, really healing when you can start to raise your awareness to all of these aspects of what's outside that becomes inside. That also means what you watch. So watching too much news, too much stuff that makes you feel hopeless or scared or feel like you don't have enough, or the what ifs, that also will play a role in what happens with what you become, your set point, your reactivity or response to stress, and also physically your digestion, what happens with your digestion. So raise your awareness to you as a consumer and moderate what you consume. Go on a consumption diet with information, with food, with what you would put what you put yourself around, what you allow your being, your human beingness to be exposed to. All right. So that's the deep wisdom to begin the practice. Let's bring that in. Let's let that sink. Let's let that come in to be digested, to be absorbed, and to be assimilated. And then if any of that needs to be eliminated, for that to be eliminated as well. So I'd like to come down on the floor and do a basic, beautiful grounding breath practice. We're going to have our hands on our belly and our upper chest, and we're going to move the hands into different positions, because breath and what happens deep inside with breathing actually can have a huge effect on structural alignment, on core stability, and on the alignment aspect of all the joints in the body, which the better alignment you have, the less wear and tear you have, and the less pain and suffering you will have. And I think we all want that. All right. So bring yourself onto your body, bring yourself over to the side, bring yourself all the way down, and then place your head on the blanket underneath your head only. So move the blanket so that your body is not on the blanket. And then try to establish a nice alignment of your spine and your torso. You're going to move side to side so that you slide your shoulder blades, which are on the upper part of your back. Really slide them towards the spine so that when you rest your body weight on the ground, you're resting on your shoulder blades. This is going to help you create more space in the shoulder joint area. And then the knees are bent, the feet are flat. Lift your pelvis up, pull your pelvis away from your rib cage, and then slowly bring your pelvis back down to the ground. So your torso is as long as it can be, creating as much space and unobstruction for your organs of digestion, for your digestive tract, for the contents of your midsection of your torso. Then let's bring the hands to be on the lower ribs at first. Notice if your ribs are flaring up towards the sky. Take an inhale, keep the mouth closed. As you exhale, gently press the lower ribs towards the floor. Feel that middle part of your torso pressing in against the floor. And notice what happens to the shoulders, the upper back, and neck. Inhale slowly to release and to soften. Exhale, press the lower ribs towards the floor. Notice if you feel that all the way down in your tailbone or if you feel that all the way up in your neck. Be really slow and gentle here. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale, press lower ribs towards the floor. And notice what you feel deep inside your torso. See if you could feel that communication down your spine to your sacrum and your tailbone as you press the lower ribs towards the floor, very middle part of your spine. Bring yourself to a neutral position. Let your body be as it is. Feet are wider than the body, knees go in towards each other. Let's take the right hand up on the chest, spread the fingers, and the left hand down on the lower belly. So diagonally, lower belly with the left hand, upper chest with the right hand. Lift your head up and lengthen your neck. So the part of your head that is on the blanket
is closer towards the neck than it is towards the top of the head. Press your head into the ground. Take an inhale. As you exhale, slowly let your head roll towards one side. Inhale to bring yourself back up. Exhale towards the other side. Close your eyes. Try to let it be that ridge that's on your head. It's called the occipital ridge. Try to let that be what is rolling from side to side on the ground. And then feel the stretching that takes place in the neck. Notice if you feel anything all the way down by your tailbone or low back. And then bring yourself back to center. Let your head be heavy. The average head weighs about 10 pounds. Feel all 10 pounds of your head releasing and relaxing towards the ground. Have your feet be wide enough so that the knees are falling in towards each other and you feel them pressing into each other. Close your mouth, let the back teeth be separated. Let the tongue rest where the roof of the mouth and the teeth meet. Begin to follow the breath in the nostrils to the upper right side of your chest. And try to expand as much as you can so you feel the ribs moving up towards the sky, out towards the side, back towards the ground. And then adding in the up towards the head, down towards the leg. So feel all those ranges of motion in your lungs, sides, front, back, top, bottom. So the upper right chest, breathing into the armpit, feeling as much expansion with the breath, and then feel that contraction all the way back to center. Let your eyeballs inside look towards the right upper chest to notice the expansion and contraction. Bring your awareness down to the lower left side. Spread the fingers. Maybe the pinky touches your leg. Maybe the thumb touches the lower ribs. The middle finger is in towards the middle of your torso. Exhale. Inhale and feel all the movement. Up, back, sides. Feel a deep stretch as you really stretch all the tissues in the lower part of your left side. Make sure you get the back towards the ground movement feeling. Add the top and the bottom. So feel the top of the ribs or the top of the pelvis area, and then feel down by the bottom where the leg attaches to your body. Let the breath stretch you deep inside, an inner body breath stretch. This lower left side of your body is where your body eliminates. This is where your descending colon moves towards the end part of the system for elimination. So use your breath to compress your colon to help facilitate movement of the food at the end of the pathway of digestion. One more breath. And then release. Let's move the hands. So the right hand is on the lower belly, the left hand is on the upper chest near the heart. Spread the fingers, press the fingertips into your body so you feel the hand on your body. Close the mouth. Begin to breathe to the left hand on the upper chest. And try to focus on letting it be isolated in the upper left chest. Feel the upward, the backward, and the side movements. Add the top to bottom movements. Notice if it's easy to expand as much as you can in this upper left side. And then move your awareness now down to the right lower belly. Spread the fingers, press the hand into your body, pinkies near the leg, thumb is near the lower ribs, middle finger or pointer finger is near the midsection. Take an exhale and inhale and feel all the movement up, back, sides. Let your eyes go there so you'll direct the breath there and feel it more. Adding in the top and the bottom. So the upper right, top of your rib cage, right where the pelvis is, and down towards the right leg. This is where the ascending colon is, where the food enters the colon to move up. Colon is about 3 to 5 feet in length. It moves up the ascending colon on the right-hand side, across where the lower ribs are, and then down on the left side for elimination. So breathe here to create some pressure to move the food up the ascending colon so it can move towards elimination. It's the right side diaphragm that moves down that creates this intra-abdominal pressure that helps you feel this movement in your body. Take one more breath. Slide both hands right where the lower ribs are, where the transcending colon is. Goes across to move towards the left. Breathe into the lower ribs. Feel your diaphragm move. Let your diaphragm push down and put pressure on the ascending colon. On the transverse colon. As you breathe in, the diaphragm presses into the transverse colon. And lots of other digestive organs. Feel that happening in your body. And then finish your last few breaths. Keeping your eyes closed, noticing if you did notice any digestive sounding, any sensations. Bring your awareness to your toes, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Draw your feet closer to your bed, to your body. Drawing the feet closer to your body, draw the knees in one at a time and feel the knees pressing into your lower belly. Feel your low back pressing into the ground, all the way up to the lower ribs. Move your body slightly side to side, massaging the low back, noticing if any discomfort or anything arose for you, because there could be a lot of dysfunction or malalignment in our body. And when we do this investigative breath work like this, we can really help to decipher where we may be a little off of alignment or out of sync with our muscles. Then bring your feet onto the ground. Open your eyes if they're closed. So the breath that we just did had an aspect of really focusing on massaging, helping to massage and facilitate movement, physical movement of food through the system. So coming up on the right side, the ascending colon, going across the transverse underneath the lower ribs and down the descending. And that can help to move. And also really getting familiar with your breath pattern and what's going on there, because that could be another thing. And then when you do breathe for that long in that calm aspect, you're stimulating parasympathetic nervous system. So you're actually turning on your body's ability to digest what's ever in the system. And different foods stay in the system for different lengths of time. If you have issues with constipation, that's a longer time in the system, taking out more nutrients and more water, which is why constipation can be harder to pass. So helping your body with breath to move or to support digestion. Let's do a little quick digestive massage. The ascending colon goes up the right side, the transverse underneath the low ribs, and the descending down the left side. So we're going to do this square pattern. Bring your fingers to your lower right side, down low, and you're going to press into your body. You decide how hard you want to do it. You could use fists. You could use a tennis ball. You could use things. This will help if you have constipation or if you're having digestive discomfort. Bring your hands onto your lower belly, right by the very low, and then press down and move your fingers up to your lower ribs. When you get to the lower ribs, move your fingers across to the other side. And then on the left side, hands down, fingers down, or I like to use fists and push your fists down towards the left side. Go across the lower body. You don't need to press too hard there. And then press up the right, over underneath the ribs, down the left, across. Up the right, across the lower ribs, down the left, and then over to the right. One more, up the right, over transverse to the left, down the left, and then over to the right. So that's one little square pattern of massage that can help with digestion. Let's do another little, massage that can support digestion. Take your fingertips, start at your belly button. Start doing a circular pattern at your belly button. Starting right in the belly button, going clockwise. Circular pattern, pressing your fingers into your belly. And then start to get bigger with your circles. You could use fists, you could use fingers. It's really nice to do this with fingers in your skin. So it's really nice to do this with your fingers in your skin, bare skin, and to put an oil on your skin so that you can have a nice gliding motion. So then start to make bigger circles. And then you eventually go all the way to the outside where the right is, going up the right, underneath the low ribs, pretty strong to the transverse, down the left side, and then over to the right. So coming out to make really big circles at the end of this. And then one more circle. And then bring yourself out. So that can help to support digestion, whether you have issues with digestion or you're doing some kind of gut healing program or protocol and you want to facilitate and support your digestion. That could be a nice thing to do, is to add some abdominal massage to your life. So let's do a little bit of physical movement for the body to help digest. So one of the most popular postures used in yoga therapy is for digestion, and it's called knees to chest, or the Sanskrit word is apanasana. So you take your hand and you bring a knee in and you hold on to your leg. You grab your leg with your hand. So you're not on the outside, you're straight up on top. And then take the weight of the leg in your hand. Then take your opposite leg and draw that in and hold on to that leg. So you'll feel your sacrum in the ground. You're holding onto your legs pretty strongly here. So your hands are going to do the movement. Your legs are going to go along for the ride. 50% of the lymph nodes are in the belly. So as we draw the knees in, we compress the lymph nodes, which helps to move lymph through the system. We also compress the organs of digestion. So we squish the pancreas, the liver, the stomach, the intestines, and we help with movement of nutrients and stuff that's enzymes and digestive enzymes and different aspects of digestion. So let's inhale, straighten your arms. On the exhale, draw the knees into your chest. Inhale to straighten your arms. Exhale to draw your knees into your chest. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, knees are into your chest. Inhale. Exhale. Close your eyes. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, draw the knees straight in, and as deep as you can, press your body towards the ground. Press your belly. Inhale and exhale. One more. Bring your feet onto the ground. Take a rest in between the postures. So I actually hear digestion taking place in my body. I'm wondering if you're hearing anything. Really focus when you do this. You'll notice some kind of movement as all the food and the digestive juices move throughout your system. Let's do a single knee to chest. Walk your feet closer together. Draw one leg in, hold on top of the shin or underneath the hamstring, whatever's appropriate for you. And if you're able to straighten the other leg, straighten the other leg. Now I'm going to compress my abdominal area even more. If you have osteoporosis, you have to be careful with putting too much forward flexion pressure on the front of your spine. So if you have osteoporosis, you could lift up like this, keeping the front of your spine open, or you could draw your knee in deeper and leave the head on the ground. If you don't have osteoporosis, on your exhale, you could bring your nose towards your knee or your forehead towards your knee. So you choose what's appropriate for you and your needs. Inhale. Exhale, draw the forehead towards the knee, compress the belly on one side. Feel that stretch on the front of the other leg, maybe. Inhale to lower. With osteoporosis, you could lift yourself up, drawing the knee in deeply, keeping the spine open in the front, or leaving the head on the ground and drawing the knee in deep on the exhale. On the last one, bring yourself up, hold in that deep compressive place. And then release. Bend the opposite knee, bring the knee in. Rest, close your eyes, notice what you notice. There's an upper back and neck working in this. When you lift your head up away from the ground, you're strengthening the muscles of the upper back and neck. Make sure that's appropriate for you. Make sure your low back is okay with what you're doing as well. So using the core to press that low back towards the ground, if you're feeling this in the low back, coming into that deep flexion if you are okay to do that with your bones. Let's prepare for the other side. Bring the knee in. Take your hand either on top of the leg or underneath, you choose. Straighten the opposite leg if that's appropriate for your body. Inhale. As you exhale, do whatever you're going to do. Either forehead or nose comes in, or you keep the front of your spine lifted and you lift your head, or you leave your head on the ground and on your exhale, you draw your knee in deeper. Close your eyes and feel what's happening in your body. One more. Come up and hold. Inhale to lower. Bend both knees. Let your feet be wider than your body. Knees fall in towards each other. Let your head relax. Let your body relax. If you feel tension in your head, do a little bit of movement back and forth, side to side. Bring yourself back to center. So let's take the feet hip distance and then allow the knees to open out to the side. Make sure this feels okay for your low back. You may need to or want to move your legs a little bit farther away from your body. You'll experience this in a different place in your hip. This is inner thigh stretch. You could try spreading your legs a little more and then coming into this open position. So feel what feels appropriate for your back to manage, for your hips to manage. So we're all different. And as you put the weight of the femur bone away from your body in this externally rotated position or this abduction position, you need to make sure that it's okay for your body to manage. We have large blood vessels that go down to the feet that run through the inner thighs. There's also a lot of lymph nodes here. So opening up your detoxification pathways, your cardiovascular system, which is also supportive for digestion, because that's part of what moves. That's how things are delivered. Once you digest them and absorb them, then the assimilation, you need all those nutrients to be delivered to all the cells, the bones, the nerves, the muscles. So having this area open, hand on the belly, you could close your eyes if you'd like, breathe into your belly. And if your low back is not happy on your exhales, press your belly button towards your spine, try to flatten the low back into the floor. Notice if you feel even on both sides. And then take one more breath. Bring your legs up. Bring your feet back. Feet are wide, knees fall into each other, hands are on your belly, and then rest. So let's do a little support work, some strengthening of the muscles, working the core. The core is a cylinder that's around the organs of digestion and your intestines. So let's really contract our core, let our core press towards the spine and then the low back towards the ground to help protect. Get your block for this. Let's take the block. Let's do the hands wide here. Actually, let's not do that. Okay, so let's get your block. Let's take the block between the knees. Let's work in a nice aligned core position first, getting everything center. Then we'll move on from there. Take your hands behind your head. Clasp your hands behind your head. Your elbows are out to the side. Your feet are on the ground. Squeeze the block. Squeeze the block a couple of times so you activate those inner thigh muscles and get that midline chain, that alignment chain fired up and online. Let's take an inhale. As you exhale, squeeze the block, contract your core, so activate the pelvic floor, hug yourself from around the back all the way to the center, push your belly button towards the spine, try to flatten the low back into the floor, and then press the lower ribs towards the ground to activate the diaphragm as well. Really pressing your spine into the floor, and then inhale to release. Exhale to contract, tilting the pelvis back, contracting your core, flattening your low back. Inhale to release. Exhale to contract. Inhale, release. Let's add the upper torso on the exhale, lifting up, flattening the low back, activating the core. Inhale. Squeeze the block. One more, come up and stay up, stay here. If you want a little more challenge, bring your arms up towards the sky, contract your core, flatten your low ribs towards the spine, top of the pelvis is pressing towards the floor, low back is pressing towards the floor. One more breath. Bring your hands back behind your head and lower yourself all the way down. Bring your hands onto your belly and rest. Let's take the block out. Take the block in your hands like this. Take your legs wide, so maybe as wide as your mat. Bring your arms overhead. So we're going to activate that whole top layer of core, really flattening the low back. We're going to use the block here. Now just let me show you this. We're going to come up and bring the block between our legs. Come up and bring the block to the outside of the legs. You need to be careful here if you have osteoporosis, because this part of your body, you have to be careful you don't press the front of your spine into itself. And even if we don't know if we have osteoporosis, I still think it's a really good awareness piece that we're not squeezing this part of our body only, but rather we're trying to stay lengthened and we're using our core as one unit to come up. So I think it's a really good awareness piece for those of us that don't have osteoporosis. But if you do have it, you have to be super careful. So take your hands like this on your block. Inhale, arms are overhead. Reach your arms when they're overhead, squeeze your block. I know for those with shoulder issues, you're not able to do that. So if you cannot, maybe you could do it like this with your arms to the side. Okay, so don't not do it. Modify to whatever you need. Reach your arms overhead. Pull your lower ribs away from your pelvis. Feel that. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bring yourself up. Contract your core. Flatten your low back. Let your upper torso come up. Bring the block between your knees. And then inhale to lower. Exhale to rise, bringing your block to the outside of one side of your legs. Inhale to lower. Back through center. Inhale to lower. Opposite side. Continue with this movement with your breath, coming through center between each movement, flattening your low back into the ground. Close your eyes. Feel your body working. Slower is harder. Go slow. Slow down your breath. The last one is to the center. So finish your last one through the center. Stay up here. If you'd like a little more, you can move your arm up and down, really firming up the core. Last one. Bring yourself all the way down. Draw your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Feet are on the ground, knees fall in towards each other, belly, hands on belly. Resting in between, closing your eyes and going into your body to feel what's happening. And then let's move on. Let's strengthen the back of the body, the back of the core, doing a bridge posture. So we're going to have the blanket be away from the back of your neck and take your feet a little bit away from your body. Rock side to side so that the shoulder blades slide towards the center, so you get very narrow across the top. and then pick up your pelvis, lengthen your back, put your low back towards the ground. Let's take the arms alongside the body, palms face inward, thumbs are up towards the sky. You're going to exhale. Feet are away from the body. As you inhale, lift your left hand up, lift your pelvis up, let your head turn to the right. So you only peel your tushy away from the ground up to the lower ribs. Exhale to lower. Inhale, opposite side. Right hand lifts, head goes to the left. Push your feet into the floor, close your eyes, feel your glutes, feel your hamstrings. If you get cramps, go slow so your muscles know what you're doing. They can manage this. So the magnesium and calcium can balance between contraction and relaxation. If your neck or upper back is not happy, you could leave your head stationary and only move the hands one at a time when you come up. One more to each side. And then bring yourself down. Let's walk the feet closer to the body. Make sure your shoulder blades slide towards the spine again. The feet are all the way in towards the body. Hands can stay down if your hands can touch your feet. Not necessary, but bringing them pretty close if you can. Hands are down alongside your body or elbows are bent. Close your eyes. Let your low back touch the ground. Squeeze your tushy. Exhale. And then inhale, peel your spine up. Coming up a little higher, let the rib cage move away from the ground. Exhale to lower. Moving through a bridge flow, close your eyes, stretching the front of your body, stretching the front of your spine. Think of opening the front of your spine, pushing away from the ground with the hands and the feet. Exhale to lower, inhale to rise. Next one, make that your last one to come up and stay up for 3 deep breaths. Stretch the front of your body. And then bring yourself down one vertebra at a time. Bring the blanket back underneath your head. Draw your knees into your chest. And then hold on underneath your hamstrings. Let the soles of the feet go up towards the sky. Draw the knees down towards your shoulders or armpits. Stretching the low back. Compressing the abdominal area. And every time we do this, helping to facilitate or support digestion. Bring the knees into the chest and then let's come onto the side. Take your hand on the ground. You're going to push away, bringing yourself up to a seated position. So we're going to stay with this digestive aspect, compressing the abdominal area. And there's some really great things about how that can be very healing for low back and for breathing, which when we are able to improve our breath, we're able to improve many, many facets of our health. So I'd like to do this. Next movement. I know not all of you can do this. Some of you can.
So let me just show you, we'll just do this for a little bit. You're gonna come onto your knees, and then you're gonna maybe actually have your blanket pretty far up your mat. You're gonna come onto your knees, and then you're gonna take one leg back, and then you're going to have that front leg pressing into your belly. And you could actually get your block here, putting your block on the floor so that when you bring yourself forward, you let your head rest on the block so that you make sure that you don't compress the front spine. Let that leg be pressing into your belly. So you're definitely pressing your hip and your knee a lot here.
I mean, our current turn times right now, man, are about 4 to 6 weeks.
You're everything. Finishing up your last breath. When you come up, lift your head first and bring yourself up. And let's go to the other side. So switching to the other side, bring the other knee forward, the other leg back, bringing your body down on top of that thigh. Let that thigh really push into the low belly and resting the head. You'll also get a stretch on the psoas on the other side. So all of this single leg movement actually stretches the psoas, lengthens the psoas, which can be nice and relieving for those with low back pain. But of course, if the knees don't like to bend, then you're not able to do this. So take that one leg back, the opposite leg forward, breathing down to your thigh, breathing down to your belly, using the breath to help facilitate this. And then take another breath, last breath. Let your head be what lifts up first and bring yourself all the way out. And bring yourself out. So I know that last one is not necessarily something that a lot of you can do that have knees that don't bend. The other thing that we can do to support digestion is to press on the belly and lay on the thing. So you could put a bolster on your belly. You could put a block on. Now, the block is intense. And I remember when I did a training with this, the teacher happened to be a yoga therapist and a psychologist. And so she was doing a lot of digestive work. And we came with our belly on the block and rested with the belly on the block and used that to compress pretty strongly the abdominal area. So that is something to try, maybe for some of you. And that could be a block is what I was trained in this. You could do that also with a bolster or with blankets. And then sometimes if I'm feeling digestive discomfort, I'll take my fists and push my fists in towards my belly and forward fold that way. And always making sure the front of your spine is not compromised. And if you have osteoporosis, not doing this, or maybe even having a block to come down to. And of course, you need bendable knees for this, bendable hips for this. So those are a couple of little things to do with a block or a pillow or something to support digestion. Let's take the block off to the side. Come on to the blanket. Bring yourself into a all fours position. Let's strengthen your front body and your abdomen. So the hip joint area, the abdominal area. Let's do a plank posture to strengthen the front of your body. Let your feet go back one and then the other.
coming into any variation, and then take your legs actually wide. And then of course, if you need to be modified, you could be modified. Hands are wide too. So be really far apart here with your hands and your feet. Push back through your heels, center of your heels. Then activate your core, push your belly button strongly towards your low back. And then lower down in your shoulder joint, sliding your shoulder blades towards each other. Long spine from tailbone to the crown of the head. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself onto your knees. Let's create a little space in the body. Take a strap. Arms are wide, arms are up. Reach up like you are holding a sheet in the wind and you're turning into a sail, or like super person, where the wind is taking your sail. So really open up the shoulders, open up the chest area, the armpit area. A lot of lymphatic vessels up here. We want to really stretch the tissues, helping to facilitate movement through the body, digestion. We need the lymphatic system and the cardiovascular system and the blood vessels to be stretched so that they can transmit all the nutrients that come into our body physically. Bring yourself back up to center, a little side to side so that the side of your body stretches where those lymph nodes are and blood vessels. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your strap, bring your strap down and off to the side. So let's come down onto the ground. Take your blanket up to the top. Come onto your tushy, onto your side, and then all the way down. One of the best physical postures to put your body in for digestion is rotation. So we're going to do a twist, grabbing a block if you need a block, arranging your body so your head is on your blanket. Walk your feet closer to your body, lift your pelvis up, and then move your pelvis off to the left. Draw the knees into your chest. You could put a block between your knees. And then you're going to rotate your legs over to the right. Try to keep the rib cage on the ground. When you get here, you may be okay with the block between, or you may need to put it underneath. So coming into whatever variation of twist is appropriate for your body, you can let your right hand hold on to the top left leg. Push your heart up towards the sky. Close your eyes. Deep breaths here to the whole left side of your body. Take one more breath deeply to the whole left side of your body. Stretch the whole left side. Take the block out, move it over to the left. Draw the knees into your chest. Bring the feet onto the ground. Pick your pelvis up and put it back into a neutral position first. From there, lifting the pelvis up and push the pelvis over to the right, place the pelvis down on the ground. Draw one knee in and then the other. You could put the block between your knees here or on the ground if you know that's what you're going to need, and bring yourself into the twist. You could turn your head in the opposite direction if you'd like. You could bring your hand onto the top leg, breathing to the right side. Last few breaths to the whole right side of your body. Bringing yourself, block out to the side if you have a block there. Bringing yourself back up to center, pushing your pelvis into the ground, lift your pelvis up, push your pelvis towards the ground, come into a neutral, hands are on the belly, then draw the knees into the chest, side to side. Bring your feet onto the ground. Let's prepare for Shavasana, coming into a fully outstretched body position, letting everything settle and relax, noticing what you notice, closing your eyes. Stay with your breath. Feel your breath in your torso. Expand and contract. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring Bring your awareness to your belly, noticing if there's anything to notice there. Movement, sounds, pain, discomfort, or relief. And to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rolling your ankles and your wrists. Bending your knees. Let's draw the knees into the chest one at a time, side to side, all the way onto your side. Take your hand onto the floor. Pushing your hand into the floor, bring yourself up. Bring your hands together at your chest. Press your hands to your heart to your hands. Nice long spine here. Let's close with sound, the sound. Take a deep exhale. Inhale. Bowing in gratitude. Namaste. When we bring our mind to the place of gratitude, we shift from the back of the brain where fear and scarcity are stimulated and triggered often, a lot, oftentimes, always. We bring ourselves to this present moment when we're in the place of gratitude. And if you remember, I said, let's start the practice today with that raised awareness around digestion and how cultures all around the world use prayer or gratitude with the meal that they're about to bring into their body. So really that word gratitude is where we could find so much happiness and peace and allow the body to feel happiness and peace, which will be very supportive of digestion. All right, so some of that I know some of you couldn't do, but most of it you could. We'd like to know how you feel. Sorry, my son was super loud. I had to go yell at him during one point. Hope you feel you didn't notice that. Oh, hi, Tina. Really, how hot is it? If you're still here. Aw, yes, grateful that you were here today, Lynn. Hopefully you're feeling good. Tina, are you still here? I want to know how hot it is. Yeah, my daughter, it's 90 degrees in the UK. And of course, they're not used to that at all. Like they're not even equipped for it. So pretty hot. Nancy, you're welcome. I hope that was good for you. You're welcome, Michael. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you feel good and use some of these tools if you have issues with digestion or constipation. Notice your poop every day. You should be pooping every day, at least once, if not more. So hopefully everything is coming out all right on your end. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you another day. Bye.